Hi, I'm Dad.
And I'm Kristen.
And today we're reviewing and driving the 2023 Honda Civic EX.
Is it cool?
Or is it crap? Okay, this is the 2023 Civic EX, and the EX model has some features over the LX, and the LX is a bit of a unicorn anyway, because we couldn't find one when we were looking for a car for Grandma. And so anyhow, this model has the same engine as the LX. It's a 158 2.3 liter four-cylinder engine, has about 180 foot-pound of torque. It's not super powerful, but it gets you going. It has a CVT transmission, which you know I'm not usually a big fan of, but those are mostly Jayco models. This is a Honda CVT, and it has been pretty reliable. I think really reliable, actually. And so the reliability might be okay. We still have the problem with it sometimes hanging in revs, trying to accelerate, but it does get excellent fuel economy. So when we look at the front of the car, we have in this model LED headlamps, which are excellent. A lot of great sight lines, cut off where it needs to be, perfectly aimed, super, super bright. And this grille is the same in all the models, moving up until you get into the SI or the Type R. And so it is quite nice. This is in a nice gray metallic paint, and I think it looks actually quite good.
Moving on to the side of the Civic, we have 16-inch aluminum rims, blind spot monitoring, and one of our favorite features, a fuel door that does not require an interior button. It only opens when the car is unlocked, and a capless fueling system, no more losing your gas cap.
As we move along to the back of the car, this is the trunked version of the Civic. They do sell a hatch version, and they almost look exactly the same, but some people want a trunk for security reasons. And that's why my mother-in-law, Grandma, wanted a trunk. So in this particular one, it has a button, which I love. You don't have to get your key fob out. You don't have to hit a button inside. You walk up to the car, you hit the button, and Bob's your uncle, the trunk opens. A lot of winter stuff in here because we are in Winnipeg, but there is tons of room in this trunk, including pull buttons for the seats, the 60/40 seats. You can put one down, both down. That's awesome as well. I like that quite a bit. The back is standard Civic, LED running lights back there. Nothing too fancy. This is the EX version, nothing too sporty, but it's a good looking car. You turn on the heated seats?
Yeah, it's cold in here.
I know, it's actually really cold
Look
outside.
This.
This is the first time we've done one in the winter. All the other cars have been on trips where we've been warm, so I expected us to do a lot more in the winter, so it could be worse. It's supposed to be snowing tomorrow and like -16 on Tuesday, the Alberta Clipper coming through.
My contract stipulates that I only review cars with heated seats.
Oh, I'll have to check your contract.
Yeah. That's fine.
So, what do you think?
I really like it. I think we both really like it. This car for the price point has a lot of features. So just starting on the dash here, like top to bottom, we've got our 7-inch display, sizable for the cost.
Yep.
Yeah, operates well. There's some physical features, not just touch screen, which obviously I prefer, certainly. I think
you may not know this, but in the Hondas of the previous generation, the 10th gen, they had gone away from a lot of knobs, and a lot of things were all tactile, non-tactile touch screen stuff, and it was hard to do. And when you're driving, to look at something and figure it out and touch it, well, now you've hit the deer in front of you or whatever, but they've gone knobs all over the place. Love it, love it, love it.
We love the knobs. So we've got the 7-inch display. We've got this lovely kind of honeycomb pattern for the vents. It looks slick. It looks good. Very attractive. We were talking about some of the materials of the car, and that this kind of, I think, piano black plastic can get scratched up really easily. So you do see that there. Although it's missing from a significant, like there's not a lot of piano black.
Yeah, it's on the doors here a little bit, and along that trim piece. But those aren't spots you generally will touch with your fingers, except maybe this one. But the bottom here, they did not. And there are a bunch of cars that use it at the bottom, and you see it, it's all scratched up with people throwing their keys, their phones, or whatever they have on there, their pet mice, who knows what they put on top of there, but it's all scratched up. And this is a textured, it's still plastic, it's textured. That's very, very nice.
Yeah, so moving farther down, we've got our dual zone climate control, also on knobs. Big fans of the knobs.
You can hear the clicks, and it's got like a little cool little textures on the actual knob. And you can see the fan getting higher and lower inside the knob. Like I think that's very nice.
We've got our heated seats on currently.
It's getting pretty warm, to tell you.
It's
Like
heating up
cooking
quick.
here.
Some of us like it more than others. And we've got a heated steering wheel as well. You've got to tell us how that's
You turn
feeling.
that on
Yeah,
too.
I turned it on.
Everything's smoking in here. Pretty soon we'll bake some chickens. And so, yeah, the steering wheel is very nice. It's not big and like diameter-wise. It feels very sporty. This particular one in the EX is leather, and so are all the models above it. And again, the typical cruise control controls, which of course has adaptive cruise control and lane assist and all that kind of stuff. And it has all the safety features as well you'd expect in a car. One of the cool things it has, because it's camera-based, is it looks for signs on the road. And if it says 90 kilometers an hour, it'll show up on your dash, 90 kilometers an hour. I like that because sometimes you're driving along, it's like, what's the speed around here? I don't want to get a ticket, especially in Morocco. That's the worst place in the world. It's like, it's 40 kilometers an hour. When's the next sign? There isn't one. I'm going 40 kilometers an hour. People are passing like 130, and I'm going, is it 100 here? Is it 110? And the Moroccan police like to collect their coffee money, may I say, and pull you over for any reason. And so I hated driving Morocco, but that's another story. But super nice gauges. Easy to see. You don't have to figure anything out. They are traditional in some respects, and I like that a lot. So the driving position is also quite nice. I am 6 feet tall, and I've got almost 2 inches before I hit the ceiling, and that's with a sunroof. And that usually cuts a lot of room out of the ceiling for you. So I fit in here quite nicely. I am at the bottom of this seat. The problem with the EX seat, it doesn't have a lot of, it's got tilt and rake, and it has up and down, and I wish I could tip it a little bit, which I guess I need electric seat on a higher model.
And of
to
course,
get that.
at this trim class, we've got the cloth seats instead of leather or leatherette.
You know what? And I like leather, but they're kind of cold in the winter. It has Apple CarPlay, but it's wired. To get wireless, you need to go up to way up the top of the touring model, which will get you a whole bunch of other things, including a turbocharged engine with quite a bit more horsepower.
Yeah.
This is cloth. It's not plastic, which is kind of nice. Feels nice. The glove. It's not a glove box. It is an armrest.
Oh.
Glove box. Open the glove box. It's
Oh,
kind of
sure.
small, actually. I was surprised.
Oh, that's really small, yeah.
I know, and that's just with one book inside it.
Can't fit a lot of stolen fast food napkins in there.
Or plastic straws.
Yeah.
Shh. So this has got a little change
Sizable.
thing. It's okay. It's pretty deep, so you can keep, a rabbit or something in there. So that might work out okay. Only one USB in the front. I was a little surprised, but it does have 2 USBs in the back.
Oh,
So that's
great.
good. And the back seat is very large. Like I can fit back there. I still at least have maybe an inch of headroom still left in there. And if I'm sitting beside or behind myself, I've still got maybe about 4 inches before the seat there. So for a small car, it's pretty big. So it's our Does It Donut segment.
This car does not donut.
Why not?
Because it has an electronic brake.
That is true. There's no
This
manual
does
brake,
not
and it's not
donut.
rear-wheel drive, so we're stuck eating another donut.
You ate a donut even though your last one donutted.
I eat 3 donuts. They were so
He's
good.
not adhering
They were
to
so
the-
good.
he's not
Look
adhering
at-
to the rules.
I make the rules. Don't I make the rules? Is it in my?
Don't you have a contract
I
too?
don't know. I should have a contract
Yeah.
myself.
But
All
we
right.
have a donut.
All right. So this is not your typical donut, a typical Winnipeg donut.
Well, the bag may look unassuming. This is a donut from a Winnipeg well, I don't know if institution. A very popular Winnipeg place. It hasn't been around for long, which is maybe what doesn't make it an institution. But it's called Crumb Queen.
Mm-hmm.
They became famous for selling crullers. And so we have with us here today an absolutely classic honey cruller.
Fun fact: the woman who makes them was a former art student of mine.
So personal connection as well. So we
There
have
you go.
the complete classic. Doesn't look good. Honey cruller.
Yeah, it looks interesting. It
Looks like a cruller.
Yeah, and I would never probably have a cruller at a regular donut place. I would always
That's the Crumb
choose.
Queen cruller.
I know the crumb. There's a lot of expectations here on how good this is going to be.
Okay, all right, here, Sean.
Okay, we're in Grandma's car. We can't We can't have any crumbs.
I'll hold it over my jacket.
Oh.
For you.
Oh man, that thing's falling apart like crazy. Okay.
All right. That's a really good cruller.
It's like it melts in your mouth.
Mm-hmm.
I don't say that about many things.
Yeah.
Like this literally feels like it's melting in your mouth. And that may be the first time I ever said that in my life.
Perfect amount of salty.
I've heard
sweet
people
balance.
say that. Yeah, it's salty.
It does. It's
and
very light.
It's super, super light.
Despite the oil that you see on our fingers, it's very light.
Oh yeah.
That's so
Don't
good.
touch any part of the car. Grandma will kill us.
So this is an excellent cruller, and in many ways representative of the Civic.
And in what way?
I would say the Civic's a classic. Everyone likes the Civic.
Mm-hmm.
Same with the Honey Cruller. Everyone loves a Honey Cruller. Specifically, people in Winnipeg love a Civic. There's a million Civics on the road.
Okay, it's not just Winnipeg. It's Canada.
Canada-wide.
It's the number one, or has been for decades.
I'm trying to draw Crumb Queen comparisons here.
I'm working with you.
Similar-
I'm trying to work with you.
Similar to how popular the Civic is in Winnipeg, Crumb Queen crullers are also absurdly popular, and you have to wait in the lineup for them.
I haven't even been there. I feel a little bit bad about that, but you live pretty close to it.
Yeah, I
so
do.
that's
There's
easy.
B-roll. I was waiting in the line this morning.
Oh, really? Okay. Yeah, so are there other kind of donuts there?
There are, but they're all variations on crullers.
All right, Crumb Queen, way to go, Chloe. You make a great donut, and you're a really good art student. There's my plug. All right, so we got to give it a ranking. It's a donut ranking. Don't we have a donut ranking?
Oh, do we donut rank?
I think so.
I thought we just compared it to the car. It's a really good donut. I don't know. 5 donuts.
For a cruller, it's 5.
For a cruller, it's 5. This is the best cruller I've ever had. Still,
the best-
crullers aren't my favorite donut.
I unfortunately agree with you again. 2 times in one segment. What is happening? Losing my mind. Losing my mind. All right, let's go for a ride.
Heated seat on Max. I'm ready to go.
You're a wimp.
I don't know, man. I don't know what to tell you with my negotiated contract. Started.
He's steering wheel. I'll do you one better. All right, so driving. This car handles really, really well. It has tight steering, very direct. It goes around corners well. It doesn't lean. It goes over bumps. I'm surprised it's just a standard sedan. It feels a bit like a sports sedan, in my opinion. I like how it goes. Like even over undulations like this, it handles it well. It doesn't have big rebound. It feels very buttoned down when I'm driving this thing. And brakes, they engage right away. They're very linear. It doesn't have a long pedal travel. I'm surprised how good this car is, actually.
Do you think that has to do, are there all seasons on this car right now?
Okay, the tires on here are not the standard tires, and they are a Michelin all-weather tire, which we decided to go with because then we wouldn't have to switch between summer and winter tires, which we usually did. And the Michelin they're not all seasons, they're all weather, which is a new category of tires. And so they're supposed to handle about, or be good in the snow, about 90% of a pure winter tire, but you can run them all year round. So if anything, we may have lost a little handling over the other ones because you have to have a bit of a bigger block tread, and the rubber can't be quite as soft as a true winter tire, otherwise it just wears out. And so that's what we decided to go with Grandma, is that so she wouldn't have to worry or think about having to do that. She doesn't drive in bad weather anyway. So let's just put it this way. She's had the car since May. It is now the end of February, and she has, you read it out. How many kilometers has she put on?
A grand total of 865 kilometers.
Of which?
Many of those are me driving out to the cabin with her car.
She literally goes.
Yeah, that's probably, 400 of those kilometers?
Half of those would have been that. And even driving it home from where we bought it was probably 50 kilometers of that as well. And so she, you know, when you see these used car ads where it says driven by a little old lady to Safeway and to church on Sunday, she's probably the only one that is true about that. So, but for her, this engine is great. It isn't very powerful, I find. It's okay, and I would prefer the turbo engine with more torque and more horsepower. But again, you got to go up the food chain to get that engine.
I don't know that I've ever really driven a Civic before Grandma got this one. And I've got to say, I was pretty impressed driving it in summer. I'll be curious to drive it a little bit in winter. Okay, how do I raise this up?
There's a lever, it goes this. So that's a bit of a pain in the ass.
There we go.
Yeah, so what's that clicking sound, Kristen?
Me adjusting the seat to a normal Canadian height.
I can't do anything with this one.
Let's see.
I think it's about as low as it goes. As a passenger, I can live with this as well. It doesn't have auto dimming mirror, unfortunately, so you got to do that yourself. So you don't get all... It's a good value at this price point.
I agree.
It's missing a few things like electric seat, obviously. But the things that are nice, like you've got to touch that the steering wheel every single day.
Yeah, I'm going to turn on the
Heated
steering wheel.
heated steering wheel.
I've never had that luxury before, so I'm going to enjoy it.
Grandma thinks this car feels a lot bigger than her last car, but that was a 96 Contour, and that was a medium-sized car, but everything has got larger.
Yeah.
So the Civics have got larger as well. When I look at this from the outside, I think, what a big car this is.
Yeah,
but
it reminds me of, Impala. What did Grandpa have? An Impala?
Chevy Impala?
Size, yeah.
It looks big, but when you drive it, I'm not sure what you think, it feels sort of small.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel like you're driving a big car.
Yeah, I liked this car driving it in summer. I drove it 2 hours out to our cabin there and back. As someone who has a car that doesn't have things like adaptive cruise or lane keep assist, some of them were flummoxing to me at points. I was like, why is this? There were detours, right? So it was like taking you purposely out of a lane, and it was trying to keep me in the lane, which was actually incorrect at the time. So it was like trying to pull me back into some pylons. So luckily it's not difficult to like overpower like the car trying to keep you in the lane, right? But
I know.
I was confused. I didn't know how to turn it on and off because I'd never.
Whoa, that was a big bump.
Yeah.
But again, look how it handles these wicked bumps. Like that is a tight car. How does this drive compared to your CX-3, which is on a smaller chassis?
Yeah, that feels a little bit lighter to drive.
Your car does.
Yeah, my car feels lighter to drive. This one feels a little bit heavier. But this is really smooth. The steering's responsive. And I think currently my car has winter tires on, and I think it wallows a little more than this car is doing on the bumps. So I really like this car. I'd buy it off Grandma at some point if she was thinking to sell.
So this is the How Does It Rate segment for the 2023 Honda Civic EX. As usual, we can give it up to 5 ice cream trucks or 5 turds depending on how good or how terrible the rankings are. First up, reliability. Other than some automatic transmission problems about a decade ago, Honda Civics have been very reliable. Not perfect, but very, very good. I'll give it 4.5 ice cream trucks. Practicality. Every generation just keeps on getting bigger, and this being the 11th gen is the biggest yet. With a 60-40 split back seats in the sedan, it's also quite practical. The hatch would have gotten a perfect 5, so 4.5 trucks to the sedan. Fuel economy. This is no hybrid, but for a gas automobile, 6.9 liters per 100 combined, that's pretty good. A Civic Hybrid is promised for 2025 using the Accord system, so that should be super frugal and powerful. But 4.5 ice cream trucks for the gas model. Safety. With an IIHS top safety pick plus, which means it's top of its class, 5 stars from an NHTSA, and full suite of Honda Sense safety features, it gets, well, not surprising, 5 trucks. Performance. 158 horsepower is decent but not exciting, and the CVT numbs the driving experience a little. However, it does have excellent ride and handling characteristics, responsive steering, and excellent brakes. I'll award it 4 ice cream trucks. Technology. Loaded with a 7-inch touchscreen wired phone connectivity and the full Honda Sense system, this EX level of the Civic is only missing a few features. I missed an electric adjustable seat and an automatic dimming mirror. Wireless connectivity for the phone would have also been nice. It only has one USB port in the front though, so 4 trucks. Quality. This Gen 11 of the Civic has best-in-class interior design and materials that seem out of place in such a reasonably priced car. It has a quiet, solid platform, which is usually only found on pricier cars as well. 5 full ice cream trucks. Aesthetics. Outside and interior design is once again punching far above its weight class. The inside in particular raises the bar in this segment. 5 easy ice cream trucks on that one. Value. It's not cheap to buy, but you are getting more value here than other cars in its class. And throw in a very high resale value, and it's an easy 5 ice cream trucks here as well. Grandma should be pleased. Okay, sunglasses supposed to make you look cooler?
I don't need the sunglasses to look cooler.
I think you might need them. So, with every episode, there's got to be, you know what it has to be, right?
I thought I dodged it, but
Nope. No, you
he's
didn't.
cornered me into
into my dad joke of the episode. So, yesterday I walked into a library. I walked up to the librarian and I said, I'd like to order some fish and chips. And she said to me, "This is a library." I said, "Sorry, I'd like to order some fish and chips." So let's take a quick look on how the 2023 Honda Civic EX compares to some of its rivals. The Honda Civic EX has a great design, quality materials, good fuel economy, and very good reliability. Its negatives are average engine power, and it isn't the cheapest to buy. The Toyota Corolla has both hybrid and all-wheel drive options. It's very reliable and has great fuel economy. It falls a little short in interior space, cheap materials, and unpolished handling. The Mazda 3 is very stylish inside and out with very high-end materials. It handles great and has an all-wheel drive option. Some caveats are a small interior and trunk, older infotainment technology, and okay fuel economy. Lastly, the Hyundai Elantra boasts a stylish exterior, a great 10-year warranty if you happen to be in the USA, and great fuel economy. Some areas of concern are a weak base engine, mediocre interior materials, a 5-year Canadian warranty, which granted is the same as the rest of the competitors, and historically higher depreciation. What do you think of the car?
This is a good car. It's objectively a nice car, and then you add in the fact that it's one of the more reasonably priced cars even on the market. This is, what are we rating? What's our total rating?
5. It's not a 5.
5. I give it a 5. It's a
5?
really
It's a
good car.
perfect car?
Oh no, I don't want to hit the cop. So it's a 4.5. I don't want. I'm similar to teachers. I don't want to give out too many like hundreds because then I don't know. You're not.
Apparently, anyone who asks teachers for evaluations, they never get their 5 or their 10, and they're so mad because teachers go, "Well, there's got to be room for improvement."
Yeah, exactly. There does have to be a car out there that's like the pinnacle. It's cool. It's high value, and this one's close. But I don't know if I actually do want to give it the 5. I'll give it the 4.5.
I think that's a pretty fair. I'm going to be pretty close to that too. The interior is best in class, by far. Engine, transmission, pretty good. Again, you can pay for more and get a turbo engine, but sometimes turbo engines aren't as reliable over the long run. So, for maybe running this thing up to 500,000 kilometers, I would probably bet on this versus a turbo engine. Interior, I love it. The seats, again, it's the EX. It's the one from the bottom. And I wish they had a bit more adjustability. And other than that, I would pick a hatch. The sedan is nice with the trunk, but you are limited. You do not, the hatch, you open that hatch up, it looks like it's like a, I don't know, a moving van. It's huge. It's absolutely huge. It has a really neat system for the cover too. It doesn't, like ours always lifts up on the accent or rolls back with the Subaru, and it goes to the side. So it completely gets out of the way. But for what it's supposed to do, it's almost perfect. It really is. It was the perfect car for grandma. Is it perfect? Well, it can't be perfect. I'm a teacher. I'm giving it, and I hate to follow you on this, I'm giving it 4.5 as well. Oh, I don't like to agree with you. So it's too hard. Too hard.